In my last video, I talked about a supercomputer in our guts, which controls our bodies, deciding what and how much we should eat. If you ever feel you have drawn the short straw in life, just feel grateful you are not born a lab mouse. They have one extremely useful feature. They are quite happy to eat each other's poo. One of the most significant experiments of modern times is they found that if they took the poo of a fat mouse and fed it to a skinny mouse, then it would become fat. And more significantly, they could reverse the process and turn a fat mouse into a skinny mouse. There's always confusion about correlation and causation, but this is a clincher, apart from it being a mouse. So what about humans? Now it seems that us humans are not that keen on eating each other's poo. But it does seem that in the interest of science, we are happy enough to have someone else's poo poked up our bums. And this is the clincher. Fat to skinny and skinny to fat. Changing gut biology really works. Does that mean every farmer must equip themselves with a gene sequencer? Fortunately, the answer is no. This is not some startling new technology. People have been growing gut food for thousands of years, and they still are, in the so-called blue zones, where people not only live to a ripe old age, but much more important, are fit and healthy into old age. They may be growing different crops, but they're all growing them using the same basic principles, so we can learn by studying the way they do it. And we can summarise the key points. Ensure there's a biological inoculant in the soil. Feed the biology with organic material, particularly green and food waste. Add minerals to the soil to ensure a continuous supply of trace elements. Control the moisture content so the biology can breed. This is the basic thinking behind the GBiota beds. Naturally, the process has been refined to take advantage of modern technology, but the basic principles are age-old. But the question you may ask is, how do we use the scientific method to ensure this is based on solid science? Let us see what would be required to provide scientific proof that eating GBiota food will make you live longer. The first problem is we'd have to wait until you died, which may be a bit late, and even if you lived to 105, that would not prove anything, as you may have lived until 105 anyway. So to conduct the experiment to provide proof, we'd have to collect a significant number of identical twins, feed one twin regular food and the other GBiota food, waiting until they both died, then compare the ages at death. If you can't see a few practical problems here, tell me what you are drinking. And anyway, is living to an incredible age really what we want? If it means spending the last 20 years of life sitting in a wheelchair, dribbling into your blanket, peeing your pants, and not knowing who your wife and kids are, that may not be a great end of life experience. What really matters is being fit, active and healthy while you're alive. And that is something which is actually much easier to measure. I'm an engineer. My clan has been building things since the Egyptians started making pyramids. On the whole, people seem to prefer it that when we build a bridge, that it does not fall down and dump a lot of people into the raging torrents below. But let me tell you the key secret that engineers keep well hidden. We don't really know what we are doing. Well, everything anyway. So we over-design our bridges so they don't fall down. Or rarely at least. Science is the art of finding out fundamental truths. Engineers just want to build things that work. Science is the art of truth. Engineering is the art of ignorance. Well, we are pretty lucky here. It only takes a few weeks to change our gut biology. And then an individual person can see the effect on them. We can't measure food cravings, but people know when they have them. And we can easily measure things like weight and waist size, so we can quickly tell whether it works for that individual. If they feel they no longer suffer from food cravings, so no longer feel the need to scavenge for food until they feel satisfied, if they are generally feel fitter and healthier, and if they are diabetic and their sugar levels are stable, then for that one person we can say for sure that it works for them. This is not the general law that scientists search for, but for a pragmatic engineer, this is managing ignorance for real benefits. But there's one more factor I want to include in this video series, and that is making sure our grandkids have a stable food supply. So in the coming videos, I'll talk about how we can grow food sustainably at an affordable price so we all have access to healthy food.